This is pH calculations. So first off, what is pH? pH is a measure of hydrogen ions in a solution, which measures the acidity or basicity of a solution. So there are three types of pHs. There's the acid, the base, and then the neutral. So an acid is a substance with a pH that's less than 7, and it is usually things such as orange juice or something acidic like lemon. And then a base is a substance with a pH above 7. So that's normally bitter, slimy, and it can be a stove cleaner or some other type of cleaner. And then a neutral substance is between an acid and base and has a pH of 7. So blood has a pH of 7.4, so we don't die. So now on to pH calculations. So instead of KEQ, the constant, now the constant or neutrality is KW. And so KW equals 1 times 10 to the negative 14, which will be helpful in the equations that you use to find pH. So the equation to use when finding pH, and not pH, but the constant, is KW equals H plus times OH negative. H plus stands for the acids, and OH negative stands for the bases. At first, the equation is confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's simple. You'll be either given an H plus or OH, and all you have to do is plug it in, since KW equals 1 times 10 to the negative 14, so you'll always know what KW equals. So, example 1. If you're given H plus equals 1 times 10 to the negative 3 m, and obviously KW equals 1 times 10 to the negative 14, just plug in 1 times 10 to the negative 14 equals 1 times 10 to the negative 3 OH, and plug in OH, which you don't know. Then you'll divide by 1 times 10 to the negative 3, and you get 1 times 10 to the negative 11 equals OH negative, which in reality means the OH equals 11 and pH equals 3. Most of the time you use logarithms to help find the pH. So the equation that we use is pH equals negative log with a 10, log 10, times H plus. There are a bunch of different equations, and a lot of the times you have to do like 1 or 2 equations until you get the pH. So say you did the KW equation and you found H plus. So you'd plug the H plus into negative log 10 and get pH. But say you wanted to get POH, which is the not the hydroxide, it's the base. You do 14. Oh, I'm gonna reset. Oh, okay. You do 14 equals pH plus POH, because 14 is the total number of pH that it could be, because pH is like between 1 and 14. And so what you would do is, say you got the pH in the previous equation, you'd plug pH into the 14 equals pH plus POH equation. And you'd have to do, so say the pH was, we'll do an example. Say the pH was 7 plus POH equals 14. That means subtract 7 on this side, And then you get 7 on this side equals POH. So you found the POH. It's pretty simple. So here's some more equations when you're finding H plus and OH. So you'll do 10 to the negative pH equals H plus. And so all you have to do, for example, is plug in a pH. So 10 to the negative 3 equals, so 10 to the negative third power is 0.001, which equals H plus. And so then what you could do is you could either go back to the H plus equation and do 10, or KW equation, do KW equals H plus times OH negative, and then you could just define the, so this is H plus, and you already have the pH. So in order to find the POH, you could have just done pH, the pH here, plus the POH and get 14, and then you figure that out like before. But if you wanted the OH, you could plug H plus into here, and then 1 times 10 to the negative 14 equals, well, it'd just be 1 times 10 to the negative 3, and then your OH would be 1 times 10 to the negative 11. A little confusing, but there are just so many equations that you can use. So on the next slide, I'll put all of the equations. So these are all the equations to find the H plus, OH, the pH, and the POH. And also, you may notice, like, look at the first equation where it says KW equals 1 times 10 with a little caret to the negative 14. That just means that it's raised to the negative 14, because on some of them it can be kind of confusing. Also, if you look down to the fourth and the fifth equation, those are two equations that I didn't go over because they're super simple. All you have to do is type negative log and then plug in the OH negative or the POH, and you can get either or answer. So it's a way to find either the OH or the POH. So if you're given the OH, plug that in, or if you're given the POH, plug that in to find the opposite. The same for the next equation where it says negative log H plus equals pH. H plus and pH always go together, while OH negative and POH negative, or POH always go together. Pretty simple to remember. So if you just plug in the H plus or the pH, you can find the opposite of that.